Welcome to our training today, using social media and other best practices to build strong community roots. And it's brought to you by TransACT After School 21. After School 21 is the leading provider for out-of-school time data management, and it's backed by over 20 years of experience and trusted by programs nationally. So I know many of you that were at the Boost conference may have met them there, and you'll see them again this year at Boost. So we're excited to bring this to you today. So we have two amazing presenters that you can see on the screen, Phillip Smith and Ben Hinkle-Wszalek. Ben, I hope I said that correctly. I apologize if I didn't. Phillip Smith is the after-school brand manager, and he works with out-of-school time programs to help them find solutions to common problems, telling their story with the data they collect. Ben is the director of operations and has been working with out-of-school time programs for the last 17 years, primarily in the area of data collection and reporting. And he also serves as the technical lead for the 5 state departments of education. So Phillip and Ben, welcome to your training today. I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to turn it over to you. And thank you again for sponsoring this training. And we're really excited to learn from you. So thank you.
Thank you, Tia. That was great, and really appreciate everyone being here today. Excited to share with you some of the tips and tricks that we've learned along the way, and we promise we will not make this product centric or anything along those lines. This is going to be a presentation where, to get the most out of it, honestly, your input and the things that you add to it will help everyone. Everyone has kind of similar challenges to common problems, and a lot of you out there have created creative solutions to those problems. So we really hope that you will join us in sharing some of your ideas and thoughts. As discussed, we are TransACT Communications. The product name is After School 21. We've got a lot of experience working with out-of-school time programs. We do work with a lot of programs that receive 21st Century Community Learning Center funds and have specific reporting requirements for that. We work with a lot of programs that receive ACES and assets and Gear Up and all the other funding streams that are out there. So just a lot of different work with different programs that have different needs and really need to tell their story through the data that they collect. So I'm gonna just go ahead and hand it over to Ben for the agenda.
Yeah, thanks, Phillip. So there's 4 main topics that we're going to explore in this presentation. Each one of them has a significant impact on programs' abilities to engage, maintain, and grow community partnerships. We're going to start out by talking about the role program leaders play in creating, nurturing community partnerships. We're going to give some ideas on how to use social media to connect with partners in the community. Next, we'll talk about unique partnerships that we've heard about, and we'll ask you to share some of your partnerships. And then finally, we'll discuss how to collect and compile data on your program and how to report it back to your partners and your community as a whole. So we're going to provide some examples of excellent community partnerships and social media along the way, but we also want to hear from you and what some of your success stories are. If we were here with you in person, it would be a simple matter of raising your hand, but in this online venue, we ask that you put your creative partnerships in the chat window, and we'll read some of those out during the webinar.
Yeah, so kind of basis point, what types of partners are there out there? And we're going to go through those. We've got a lot of experience, and we found that the out-of-school time programs that benefit from community support and engaging with their community, it's just really a critical part of what out-of-school time programs can do. Knowing how to identify which organizations are best to partner with, how to approach community partners, and by what methods is a challenge that we've heard. So we're going to help with that. I think COVID really made this a little bit more challenging, and it showed how kind of vulnerable programs can be. But it was also a period where programs showed great creativity in creating and offering different activities that might be done remotely without a physical space, and how programs could still keep up their presence in that challenging COVID time. So we'll go through some of those here.
Yeah, so businesses, nonprofit organizations, and community volunteers are some examples of ideal community partners. Each of those different types of partners provide different advantages to out-of-school time programs. For example, businesses can often provide donations of equipment or funding, and also provide volunteers and experiences that students might not have otherwise. Local entrepreneurs, including young people who own businesses, can offer valuable services to the out-of-school time programs. They can also understand program participants' unique needs and offer innovative solutions and ideas for working with other community partners. Nonprofit organizations can often provide unique programming experience that might be different from what you typically offer in your after-school programs. And then community volunteers can help staff events. They can provide unique insights into what's going on in your program. So we encourage program leaders to think out of the box with volunteers and how they can engage with those volunteers and use them within their programs. Other types of partners that aren't explicitly mentioned on the slide here could be programs like schools and school districts, especially if you're not directly associated with the school district. Partnering with your local school district is a great idea, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Colleges and universities, libraries, museums, and other government organizations are all great places to look for partnerships.
So how would a program attract the right types of partners? Success with effective community engagement typically begins at the top, begins with your program leadership. And you want program leaders that are well connected within the community. Second is outreach. And, that's kind of why we're here. Social media is obviously one of the, most significant and really the number one tool to increase community engagement. And, it can be used to expand family interest in the programs, create content that is going to play well within the community, and educate the community about the valuable services that you're providing. So we'll go into a lot more detail about the social media aspect of things here in just a little bit. In addition to that, partner reporting. So what should you include on your reports to your partners? What information is valuable for you to share? What information should you not share? So we're going to go through a lot of those things. And when you have partners that are providing different funds, those contributions and showing them the impact that those contributions have made to the program is really a valuable component of helping you build strong community roots. So program leadership. We found that programs with strong program leaders have an extremely positive impact on their programs. So ideally, you want program leaders that are well connected within, if you are in a school district, inside of your school district, or if you're a community-based or nonprofit organization, have strong roots or strong connections with the school districts that are being served by your program. You want someone that can kind of network within those. They typically ensure that you can attract strong community partners. So during our presentation, we'll discuss the actions strong leaders take to grow their program. The more kind of power players that they are connected to, the more information about your program will spread throughout the community. They can work with those contacts to establish partnerships and even get some donations and volunteers. So one example of this is a program that we've worked with now for, over a decade. It's the Beyond the Bell program in Sioux City, Iowa. And their program director is on a committee that brings together several family serving organizations and programs in Sioux City. They've been able to tackle several issues by building a network of contacts from businesses and organizations that are working together. So we'd love to hear from you. Ben, do you want to?
Yeah, so I guess, what are some ways that your program leaders are active in the community? If you could type those answers into the chat, we'll review those in a moment. While you're doing that, though, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the partnerships that you might have with local school districts. So partnering with local school districts is especially important if your program is not directly associated with the district. That's the example or the case with the example Phillip mentioned with the Beyond the Bell program. They're not directly affiliated with the school district. They're a nonprofit organization, but the students that they serve almost exclusively come from the school districts in the Sioux City community. So they run most of their programs directly in the school buildings. So they're working with students in settings that they're familiar with. So even if your program is tied to a school district, there can still sometimes be a disconnect between what's going on during the school day and what's going on in the after school program, especially when it comes to staff. And having a formal partnership between your organization and the school district or the individual school can really improve those relationships. So communication is key. Try to set up a meeting between school staff and out of school time teachers and staff at least once a month. Invite administrators from the school and the district to visit your after school program and try to align the best you can with what's going on during the day school curriculum. If you support the efforts of what's going on in the day program, your students are more likely to be successful overall. Wherever possible, employ school day teachers and staff in your out of school time programs. Not only will that give continuity to the students between the day school and the after school program, it'll also help to align the efforts of what's going on during the school day with after school. And lastly, try to share your successes. It sounds a little cliche, but at the end of the day, the most important part of your program is the impact that you have on the students that you're serving. So any successes your programs have, especially in the out of school time space, try to share those with the school day staff so that the school day staff can see some of the great things that you're doing after school. And you should also try to get the success stories from school day staff on students that you're serving, so you can acknowledge those students in the out of school time program and just give them a shout out for some of the wonderful things that they're doing throughout the day as well.
Okay. So doesn't look like we have any examples in at the moment.
Here we go. Clarissa. One example, our school district has a strong partnership with its union where networking is strong, meets the department leaders, superintendents, et cetera, and a commitment to serving educators and students continues to be the forefront no matter how uncomfortable or challenging the topic situation may be. It's a perfect example of union and district working together rather than opposing each other. And then Ziana's saying at GVSD, a district program, we're connected with our local SAFE program, helps homeless youth, connected with Bright Futures for Youth, Community Youth Program, NEO and California Health and Wellness Teaching Cooking Academy. We operate our own kindness closet open to the community. I'd love to know more about that, Ziana. Yeah. And also Emily Barth is on here and she's being quiet, but I'd love to call her out and have her share about some of the great partnerships that are happening at Think Together. And Freddie, I know that you've had some creative solutions on partnerships, and feel free to chat, or Phillip, if it's okay to have someone unmute their mic and share out.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, I'll share one of our partners. One of our partners that we had for over 14 years is the LED4 Foundation. So that foundation was brought up after the 1984 Olympics here in Los Angeles with a surplus of funds. And what they do is that they're a recognized leader in supporting of youth sports programs. And what they do with that money with us is that they support our youth sports programs. So we run 4 core sports throughout the year, which is basketball, soccer, volleyball, and flag football. So they do provide, I believe, over $500,000. And with that money, we employ staff, and also we employ teachers at some of our sites to help us run those core sports. And it's a great partnership that we have with them, just because their motto is life through sport, and sports and recreation is one of our biggest sells and one of our biggest points where kids come out and participate. And we do have weekend leagues, and that's kind of where it all fluctuates. We have over 100 middle schools that we oversee, and we end up with the city champion in those sports. So the LED4 Foundation is a great partner that we've had for the last 14 years. And now with the Olympics coming back in 2028, we're looking forward to what that opportunity is going to be impactful for our students here in LA.
Thanks, Freddie. You're doing some great work over there. I'm going to encourage you at some point during the training today also to talk about how you were connecting with kids over the pandemic, because I know that you had to be really creative and you guys were doing some good stuff too. And then
Any other ones?
Yeah,
Yep.
Diana in the chat saying I work for a private school. Here school leaders are active in the community promoting family businesses, i.e. if there are services a school may use, they get services from family-owned businesses. I love that. All student families have also joined the Red Cross campaigns when necessary. And then Shelley is a 21st century site coordinator, and they are at a very rural school. So they try to do service learning projects in the community with local businesses and long-term care facilities, and host family events and ask local businesses to share their talents with families, family paint nights, holiday evergreen events, and family cookouts. Thanks for sharing, everybody.
Awesome. So the next set of slides and the next topic here is going to be social media. So, really social media is the most influential marketing tool available that we've come across for out of school time programs. And out of school time programs use social media, quite often to share content, to educate the community about, what they're doing, and potentially to attract new folks to the programs that they provide. We know that out of school time programs are stretched thin and don't have a marketing budget typically, or it's not very large. And keeping a compelling presence online is a challenge in those situations. And as you grow more social media savvy, you may decide that branching out and using more social media platforms is worthwhile. To help you make the right decision for your program, I'm going to just do a quick overview of some of the most used channels, provide some tips and tricks here at the end that will save time for programs that are stretched thin. And we have created a kind of companion spreadsheet to help you kind of plan out social media campaigns that you might have. So that's available, I think, to download through Zoom, or certainly will be afterwards. So the most commonly used here, and it's not a real big surprise here, but Facegram, that's a new one. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It is actually Facegram, isn't it? So those are the most used platforms, and you can really build a trustworthy profile on Facebook, and that's going to provide a huge opportunity to reach very targeted audience and boost your social media presence. But really, when you consider what social media platforms to use, you have to really think about your audience and who you're going after in that particular for that particular social media platform. So Facebook is going to have more of an older group that's associated with it. Twitter might have users that are a little bit younger, and so forth with Instagram. So there's a lot of different ways to essentially market to different areas, different groups of folks that might be on certain social platforms. So always be cognizant of that. Another example of this is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn obviously has a very kind of business profile towards it. But if you are looking, if your program is looking to, as an example, get volunteers from local businesses, corporations, trying to attract those corporate dollars potentially to your programs, using LinkedIn can be a very good resource for this. As an example, there's an organization that is in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, and they do a ton of every week they're posting a new video, shouting out different volunteers. And the reason why they have such a high presence on LinkedIn is because all of their volunteers that actually work with the nonprofits that they work with are in these large corporations, and so they're attracting more folks to the programs that they're working with. Another one, so YouTube. YouTube is great for video content. Obviously, Boost uses it, and YouTube can be great. You can embed your videos on your organization website using YouTube. It's completely free. It's one of the only completely free video content kind of storage tools that are out there. And you don't get to edit it very much within YouTube, or there isn't any tools, but you don't have to have like super highly polished, sophisticated videos. Getting a YouTube presence, getting a channel on YouTube will definitely help you to share those videos, but also can help with search and the algorithms to search for your program. It is also very important to remember that engaging with your program participants isn't the same as engaging with community partners. Participants might more likely be on TikTok or some of the other social platforms that are coming up now. There seems like there's new ones, every couple months that I hear about. So, engaging with participants is going to be a lot different than engaging with the larger community. One other significant item to mention here is whenever you are posting video or pictures of students, you have to make sure that you have the consent for posting those images for those students. You can still post an image that might have the back of a student or group of students without consent, but if there's any face involved, anything along those lines, you have to have consent. So what makes a good post? Really some three key components to it. So you want something that's short and sweet. And so this obviously kind of depends on the platform that you're using. You're going to have character limits in Twitter, but doing something that is very direct is going to have the highest kind of interaction rate. If you're using a link, and I'll talk about this a little bit later here, there are tools to help you shorten those links to preserve your character account. So keep that in mind. A post that has an image associated with it. Images, especially moving images, increase engagement. So make sure your image matches the content that you post. Videos or GIFs, I don't know how you want to say it. I don't know. I go back and forth all the time. It's really a conundrum for my, psyche here. But, GIFs are always engaging in media. So anything that moves is going to get more eyes, get more interaction. And then obviously hashtags and tagging different accounts. So tagging a local business or tagging a partner that you work with, that's going to really get a lot more eyes on your particular post. And then hashtags, there's definitely industry hashtags to be aware of. You should know what those hashtags are. OST, boost, and I'll show you an example of that here in just a minute. But those hashtags will again increase the number of eyes, increase the times that this particular post will show up on someone's feed. So keep all of those things in mind. Here's an example of a social post. So this is actually one that we did at the Boost conference here. What was it, about 4 months ago now? And so what we can see here is this is like, I would say, the famous Boost, flamingo garden chair view. I think everybody kind of posted these things, posted pictures here. So we wanted an image that's associated with it, short post. We don't necessarily have a hashtag here, but we did call out at Team Boost to appear on some of the feed for for that particular conference. And then this one doesn't have a shortened link, but for ones that do have a shortened link, there's tools called like Bitly that will shorten your link, shorten any links that you have to about 20 characters or so, and that really preserves your character count. So this was on Twitter. I think we also did this on a couple of other channels as well. So that's just an example of a post that we did with Boost, but we do and we promoted this particular presentation through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of our different channels as well. So a lot of different posts there and things to think about. So there's a couple of really good resources that you can use for creating your posts and effectively scheduling them and then getting eyes on your posts. So these are typically, and in fact, all of these have free versions of them. Google for nonprofits, you do have to be a 501(c)(3), I forget the exact name there, but you do have to be a nonprofit in order to do this. School districts unfortunately can't take advantage of this, but Hootsuite, what this does, there's a free tool, and what this allows you to do is to schedule multiple social media, essentially releases of messages at the same time. Okay, so if you're going to post on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you want them to all go out in 2 days at 9 a.m. or 3 p.m. or whatever the time is, you can schedule that, and that's going to really increase your visibility, and it's going to help get more eyes on your posts. There is a paid version that does some other fancy stuff, but there is a free version that will do that basic kind of scheduling and posting. Second is Canva. And if you've ever seen these posts with moving images and like a arrow that does this, or flourish of that, whatever it is, that's probably made in Canva. And Canva helps you create graphics. It allows you to do things with images. It's all kind of template driven, so you don't need any graphic design skills necessarily. I've used Canva a lot. I am not a graphic artist, and somehow it made it, made our documents and our posts look really good. So nonprofits can gain free access to Canva, and you're able to do some really neat things that will get more eyes, that will get more interactions to Canva, or I'm sorry, to your posts. And then Google for nonprofits. So there's a little bit of a kind of a process involved with this, but as long as you go through a form, then Google will work with you to provide you their kind of suite of tools, and then they also will even give you essentially grants to post ads for your program. And this will get you to the top of search engine rankings in Google. Obviously, they will do this for you. I think it's something like $1,000, $1,000 of equivalent every, I believe it's every couple of months, may even be every month. So, if you are a nonprofit, I would definitely take advantage of it. They actually have a pretty good system of going through it, and you do have to go through a verification that you are a real nonprofit, but definitely worth doing. And using these three tools, you've got a way to effectively schedule your social media posts. You've got a way to create really compelling posts and images. And then lastly, if you are a nonprofit, you're able to use some of those free tools from Google to get more eyes on your posts. So definitely, I'd recommend all three of these tools for you. A couple of time-saving tricks. So, social media is all about kind of having a strategy, having a campaign, And this can be really, really challenging for out of school time programs. You've got lots of different hats you wear. You've got lots of different things that you need to do. So some easy lift things that you can do to create really good content. So plan a series. Every Tuesday or every Thursday, we're gonna do Throwback Thursday, and we're gonna post an image of folks from, 10 years ago or 15 years ago, whatever it is. Volunteer Fridays, call out a community partner on Wednesdays. So what this allows you to do is say, okay, I know that every Thursday we're going to be doing this type of post, and that, mentally you can kind of prepare for that over the week. And so come times on Thursday when it's time to post, or hopefully you've already done it, you've got that all kind of squared away. Another one on this day. So on this day 15 years ago, this is what happened. So these are just ways to like mentally be prepared for really compelling posts. I mean, I'm a sucker for these, like on this day, 10, 15 years ago, looking at, an image from that time. I think it's really, it's fun. So keep that in mind. Batch schedule. So we talked about Hootsuite. So, make sure that you kind of plan those out. It's all going to go out automatically, and that can be really beneficial for you. So you don't have to think about it. It just works for you. And then this, last but not least here, a credential cheat sheet. So what I mean by this is you might have multiple people that you want to post on different channels. And if you have one place, one document where all of the credentials reside, it's probably going to help your coworkers or your future self or whoever it is. I mean, you have to have a different username and password for everything. And if you have one document that has that, or one location where all of those things reside, that multiple people can get to, just in case like you are sick that day or out of the office, or you're at the, whatever it is, so that they can access it. It's just going to save you some headaches in the end. So that is our kind of tips and tricks for social media. I know I've seen the chat thing just go crazy here over the last 10, 15 minutes. Let's hear from you. What are some of the cool things that you're doing in social?
I think it's kind of different for us because we don't, we're not a program necessarily. So we don't necessarily, we don't have like somebody had posted Fun Friday, as one of the things that they do, which I think is great if you're a program, because you can show all the fun things you're doing with kids, like on Friday. For us, Fun Friday, like you said earlier, business on top, pajamas on the bottom. So, something like that would be a little bit tougher for us to participate in. So I guess our audience is just a little bit different. We are mostly, reaching all of you. So our stakeholders, and we're reaching the, staff and site directors, and we're reaching, schools and principals. And so more of, we're not necessarily reaching parents or looking to reach,
Right.
High school students to get them to come to the after school programs. So it's a little bit different than I guess a lot of people probably on here. But we like to, we promote, like, for instance, this training, like we wanted everyone to know, like, hey, we've got free training opportunities. So that's something that we use our social media platforms as well. And a lot of the hashtags you all use, we use them too, because we know, we want to reach all of you after school programs and whatnot. So,
So
yeah.
is Twitter like the most used social platform, do you think, for Boost, or?
I want to say probably Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, those three.
Yeah.
I think we use the most. We're kind of on the same page. as you regarding, the way that you explained, like how LinkedIn is more like, on the professional business side. So, where we would post some fun kind of, video or graphic or something on Instagram, like it's not necessarily going to be the same thing that we
Right.
post on LinkedIn. So yeah, it does depend upon the type of content and whatnot, but I do think that that the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, what did you say? Facegram?
Yeah, face cream.
Yes.
Yes. That
Those
was
three I would say are probably
good.
the top platforms that we use.
Awesome. Freddie, I see you're unmuted. Is there anything you want to share?
Oh, just totally agree about the Planet series. We always try to utilize the hashtags for the days of the week, right? So on Mondays, we do a Monday motivation post just to kind of get the week started, new week, new goals. So we'll provide an image of one of our weekend events or something that's going on throughout the week at our sites with the inspirational quote, right? Just to get them going for the week. I did share on the chat, like we also spotlight our employees. So we have the hashtag Who We Are Wednesdays, and we spotlight our employees then. And then on Fridays, we have Fitness Fridays, where we'll put the corny flash dance music. We'll create a video and with the lens of fitness with the sites that are doing a fitness at the program. So those are just a few series that we have on our end, but obviously always looking to see what else is trending, what else, because I'm a novice at this. I just kind of been learning with the CQI process. And like I said, we don't have a marketing budget, and it's in addition to what else I do. But again, I love just learning new things and obviously just showcasing our kids, right, and our staff, so that way more people can know what we're doing, and that's where we're at right now on our end.
Thanks, Freddie. You're doing a great job. I follow you all on social, and I love all the stuff that you post. Emily, I'm going to call you out. Emily Barth. You had some great suggestions in the chat, so I'm hoping you can expand a little bit more on that, how you use TikTok as well.
Sure. Well, I'll just say hi. I'm a Think Together's marketing and communications specialist. So I live on social media a lot. But we've recently been making that kind of adjustment. Short form video has become a really big way to increase our reach. So we've been leaning on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook Reels to really kind of expand our reach. And it's done amazing. So anything that we've been able to convert into a video, we have been. And like for like our last fiscal year, I think something like 40% of our videos got over 10,000 views. So that was really helpful for us to kind of expand our reach out. But, we've been using it for hiring. We've been using it to highlight what's going on in programs, what our partners are doing with us, all the different collaborations and fun things that were going on. And it's been really fun. It's been a new frontier for me, even. I'm still kind of learning how to TikTok, but it's been pretty successful so far.
And I would say also YouTube Shorts. I mean, that gets a lot of views too. So, if you're creating something like that, putting in YouTube Shorts, definitely take a look at that as well.
Totally. That's our next kind of phase for sure.
Yep.
So working for a school district, they are very much particular about what we're allowed to put out. And so I don't have any account yet for my program. So we just purchased TransACT to use for the after school program.
Oh, cool.
And so I'm going to
Thank you.
utilize this as my carrot. Like, look, other people are doing this successfully and it's helping their programs. And I'm a communications major and a social behavior major. And so it's like, let me just provide this carrot. And all of these wonderful stories are really just inspiring and exciting.
Yeah, there is definitely a level of trust. I think that's involved in some of these things. So, I think we used to have this in this presentation, but make sure that multiple eyes typically see any post that you're gonna do, because it's even though it's like 3 sentences,
They've given me
always
access to I can push out notifications through an app that they use called Parent Square.
Yep.
So it's like I have full access to communicate with whoever I want on a dime. Yet you won't let me have Instagram for the middle schoolers.
Right. Good luck. Yep. Anything else in the chat?
Cassandra, I'd love for you to talk more about some of the stuff you're doing at Woodcraft.
Hi, thank you. So I currently I'm an AmeriCorps Vista at Woodcraft Rangers, and part of my Vista term was getting to work with, thank you, with our development team. And so they trusted in me to run our main account, our Woodcraft Rangers Instagram, Facebook, is what I'm mainly in charge of. And so it was a little bit of a learning curve for me because I only had like my personal social medias, but I think I was able to really study what we had already done while also studying some of the other nonprofits that we follow. So even just like we wanted to start to be more intentional about like Heritage Month. So like right now it's Latinx Hispanic Heritage Month. And so it's something as simple as typing in hashtag Latinx Heritage Month on Instagram. You could see multiple examples of like what other organizations are doing. That's a great way to kind of get inspiration and ideas. And that's kind of how we decided to highlight Latinx stories and authors. And that's a series we're going to do like for this month. And we're trying to be really thoughtful about like how are we engaging our audiences, because a lot of people who follow us are our staff, our students, and other nonprofits. So yeah, thank you for shouting me out.
Sandra, that's great. It also kind of makes me think about like, following different, like, for example, like if you have a, like a programming or kind of a social cause that you're associated with, like, increasing child nutrition or helping with child nutrition, like finding businesses or other organizations that are around you that have like similar, like they're obviously not an after school program, but they might be, providing good nourishing meals to the community, like following them and calling them out, or something like that. That's a way to, again, create more interactions, create more ways for folks to see the good work that you're doing as well.
Yeah, and I also think that's a great when we talk about partnerships, like trying to highlight when we do talk about a partner, like their kind of mission statement as well, so people also know like this is another resource, and it's like just a healthy relationship between the partners and us.
Great. Any other ones?
Feel free to unmute and share if you have something to share with the group. We would appreciate that.
Yeah, I've got one, and this was from a conference that I went to a few years ago, where there was a presentation about just community engagement and partnerships. And one of the after-school programs that was there was talking about a donation that they received from one of the local businesses in their area, and they made a big deal about it on social media. So rather than just whatever getting a check kind of behind the scenes, the business posted about it on their social media, the organization posted about it on theirs, and then at the end of, they actually had a little video of them like handing over a big novelty check kind of thing to make a big deal out of it. But at the end of the video, the business actually challenged another business in the community to match their contribution. So then that business kind of had to do it, and they went on, made their own video, posted on their social media, and then called out a third business. So that sort of chain of challenging people, sort of whatever ice bucket challenge-esque thing, went on over the course of a couple months for them, and they ended up raising several $1,000s for their program that they wouldn't have otherwise. And so there are a lot of the techniques Phillip was talking about in there, right? They were tagging each other's accounts. Both organizations were posting. There were videos included. So anything to sort of stop people from scrolling and see what's going on with that really made a big deal. And then with the sort of cross-posting and tagging each other, they're reaching each other's communities and followers, and just expanding the reach of what their individual post might have done on their own social media.
Cool. So we have a few more slides here to go through. unique community partnerships and then partner reporting. Before we move forward, just any last ones on social media? So much good stuff here. I don't want to stop the goodness, stop the flow here.
I would like to share that I do think that using the nonprofit Google works really well. So if your agencies can really sign up to get those free ads, they are beneficial. They will put you on top. They'll be able to add when people are searching specific things. You have an opportunity to add keywords and stuff like that so that there is a little bit of an engagement and it drives people to your page. So I would definitely suggest that one if your agencies haven't already used it.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Is there anything else that you've come across that's kind of similar to what Google is doing? Any other, like, free tools or anything like that that you could recommend? No. Okay.
One platform that I use here for our social media, and it's a paid one, but it's not too expensive. It was about $300 for the year. The platform is called Video Boat, and that just really took our videos to the next level, where we could brand ourselves and with our logo, and they're always coming up with different templates, like on an every day, for all types of different activities that you may be doing, holidays, sports, academics, dance, so and so. So there's like thousands of templates, and they're all really high quality 4K. So we got the approval to purchase this. Now I'm able to utilize this, and instead of using whatever that I have on my computer like iMovie, now with this one it just really takes those videos when we do use it to the next level. So I do recommend if you guys want to check it out, if you have the budget for it. It's really a cool way to grow your brand and your logos and so forth.
One thing that I'll say to think about on the videos, I mean, it's good to post videos that just show kind of what's going on, but what we would call a CTA, a call to action. Like, here's you're kind of seeing this, and if you want to get involved in your program, here's the link, or get involved in this program, here's the link to get involved. So having a call to action for your posts is something that is recommended for sure. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about community partnerships. Lots of different kind of unique community partnerships, and this can really help grow the roots in your community. So, when you're thinking about the programming that you provide, providing activities that may be outside of what the school district provides, or things that are a little bit unique. There's more and more school districts and organizations that are having to cut things like music and art, and some of these kind of core things. Providing those types of somewhat academic related activities can be very beneficial. Tutoring, hands-on science and math. We were at a conference a little while ago, and there was an organization in Huntsville, Alabama, that actually had NASA come out and provide programming for their program. So they had a whole semi that came out, and these are, obviously NASA's not going to be in everyone's backyard, but there are different, government agencies, different organizations that will provide those types of volunteers and provide that unique programming. Another really major one, and I think we saw a lot of this actually in the pandemic, is providing things like free basic healthcare, anger management classes, even like food pantries and things along those lines. So there are community development block grants that can help fund these things, and this is a really a vital service that an out of school time program can provide, that you can get grant funding for, and something that will really deepen your roots inside of the community. And then we've even had some programs that have done self-supporting or student-run businesses. An example is that I see, actually, I think I've seen them at different conferences is like you buy a kit car and then you put together that kit car over the course of 6 months, a year. We had one program that was able to get a volunteer mechanic to come in and work with the kids, and then at the end of the time period, you auction off that kit car and raise money to not only support the cost of it, but also to support the program. Obviously, that would go really well over social media. You could do kind of before and after. You could do a series just along the lines of putting together the kit car. So think about those things. Offering those unique community partnerships and getting those unique community partners can not only help you have strong community roots, but also can lead to really good social media exposure. I know we're kind of running towards the end of time. We have one last component here. Why don't we skip that, and then we'll get into partner reporting, and then we can just go back to some of the other unique partnerships and bring that back out to the audience. So Ben, you want to go ahead and take this one?
Yeah, so like Phillip mentioned, just partner reporting, how to collect and share data related to your organization and the partners that you're working with. So I guess when you're talking about reporting, just remember the partnerships are sort of a two-way street. So you want to be able to demonstrate the impact that the partnership is having on your organization, as well as the impact that you're having on the partner organizations. So showing that you bring something to the table as well for those partners that you're working with. So what sorts of data should you be collecting to try to demonstrate that? First off, collecting basic participation information is huge. And chances are you're already taking attendance for some sort of funder that you have, but checking data on how many students and potentially adults are participating in specific activities that you're offering is great, especially those that are funded or being run directly by one of your partner organizations. Try to keep really close detail information on what's going on in those activities in terms of participation. You can use that information then to give each partner an idea of how their specific contributions are impacting the community and the population of students that they're serving. Try to identify some outcome areas to show the impact of the programming that you're offering. So things like day school grades or grade point averages, standardized test scores, teacher surveys, student surveys, parent surveys, high school graduation rates, any of that sort of qualitative data, right? Solid numbers that you can look at to compare prior to participating in the program to after participating in the program to show growth is great. And try to include those outcomes in year-end reports to each partner. If you can actually send a report out to the partner saying, hey, look at what you did, what your efforts did to help our community and our students is great. In a lot of cases, especially if you're affiliated with a school district, you might be able to do some comparisons of outcome data of students who participated in your program to those who did not participate in the program. So either from the same school or maybe a similar student population within the same district to show the impact that specifically participation in the after-school program is making. That kind of information can be really useful in marketing efforts as you're trying to engage with new partners to work with your organization. So not just sort of end of year reporting out to people that you have worked with, but to put on your website, to put in social media posts on LinkedIn to try to engage with other partners. And then try to measure the impact that partners have on your staff. So a lot of times you might be thinking about how is the partnership impacting the students that we're serving, but how is it impacting your staff? Are they more satisfied because they're able to actually work with students more on a one-on-one basis because you've got more volunteers participating in your program? Are you able to hire more certified teachers because you're getting more financial contributions from partners? Are you retaining staff at a higher rate because they're happy? So doing maybe a staff survey of some kind to measure the impact that partnerships are having on your staff can be really helpful as well. Whenever you do generate reports, make sure that what you're publishing to the public or to your partners is only aggregated or summary level data. Don't share any individual student or participant information. Things like ID numbers, names, addresses, free and reduced lunch information, things like that should never be published on a individual student basis in reports, but aggregated information should be fine in those cases. And yeah, I guess just try to share that information not only with the partners that you're working with, but post it on social media as well. And if you have partnerships that are established and you see some good outcome based on a particular program that they're offering or because of the funds that they're providing to you, post that on your social media, tag that partner organization, let them maybe retweet it or post it again themselves to boost the signal of it. All that kind of stuff is great for getting really, I guess, hard information about what's going on in your program and the successes that you're having out into the community.
Here's my friendly 5-minute warning.
Yep. So I think at this point, I think we only have a few more minutes. If there are any questions, so I know in the chat, Janessa has been chatting up. Janessa is over all of TransACT's social media, so she's a great resource, and really honestly assisted quite a bit with this particular presentation. So if anyone has any questions, if anyone has any comments, we've just seen some really cool things in the chat. I just want to like download this chat and review it again. But yeah, anything else that we can do in the time that we have?
T, I was going to ask you if everyone on this page, or if they have like their own organization social media, if we can get that shared with everybody, so that way we could just support one another and follow each other. Again, we're all providing similar services throughout the country, right? So like on our end, I try to follow as many after school programs that I can, just to kind of see what's trending, what to see, get ideas as well, not only from here in SoCal, but from all over the country. So I think if we all can support one another and see what we're all doing, then we can network as well. So if we can have those, I'll definitely follow on our end.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So if everyone wants to put their social handles in the chat, and then we can do a follow-up email so that you can all stay connected with each other, that would be awesome. And Freddie, now that you said that, this is what happens when you have a good idea, is I put you to work. So we have on the Boost Cafe, we have a community of practice and some learning forums. And it'd be great if we could all create our group and go in there and we can continue this conversation, and maybe TransACT would like to help moderate that and be a part of that, so we can all kind of share some promising practices as we move forward.
I think that'd be fantastic.
Okay, well, we'll send out a follow-up email then, and I'm gonna save the chat. So I'm seeing a lot of folks put their handles in. Thank you very much. Jess also put the evaluation in. Jess, I'm going to ask you to do it again because now the chat's moving along, so everyone can fill that out. And you know, Ben, you mentioned, you know, the data and the importance of sharing that information. And when you fill out the evaluation, again, you'll get that certificate of completion for today. You'll get the slide deck from today, and there's also in there a link to a survey. It's called Power of Us. It's through the Wallace Foundation and the American Institutes for Research. And right now they're doing the largest workforce study for out of school time programs. And then they'll be doing a town hall at Boost. But we're really trying to hear your story, and we want you to share your story. So we encourage you to do that. And when you use our link, you'll be entered to win free Boost conference registration. So there's a little perk for that. So again, thank you all for participating today and for showing up in leadership. We appreciate you. We appreciate the work that you do. And to our friends at TransACT, thank you very much for sponsoring this training.
Very much appreciated.
And coming to us today. And we hope to see you again soon. And we look forward to seeing you at Boost. So thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, we'll stay on. Let us know if you can't access that evaluation or you have any issues, and we'll hang out for a little bit. And thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day and the weekend.